funding for...
They startle more, their heart races, and so forth. And what you find is that if you present that cat collar over and over and over again, and in fact the cat never shows up, then the rat finally learns that, you know, this smell is not as bad as I thought it was.
I'm not sure that's the best thing for the rat, but I understood the point about the fear. All right, so Beth made it through her virtual reality exposure therapy, but can she pass the real test? Next. Well, did it work? Did Beth overcome her fear of heights with a treatment called virtual reality exposure therapy? Does that mean that she can now ride the real thing? The same elevator she spoke about before. Beth did it. I have to tell you, I mean, I know a little bit about how we work here in the TV business, and I had to ask Beth, did we make you do it more than once?
Over and over and over.
Over and over you did that. Well, I guess that's the proof.
It is. And the more I do it, I'm really grateful, because the more I do it, the better I am at it. And you can't avoid the stimulus, or I may forget how to be not afraid.
Really? What, Dr. Davis, what does she mean? I may forget how to be not afraid.
That's a perfect point, because it's probably the case that we never get rid of our fear memories. They're probably all somewhere in our brain. What we learn to do is overcome them, to cope with them, to inhibit them, to suppress them. And that's what really goes on with these exposure-based psychotherapies.
I want to talk about the real reason you're here. And the real reason Beth was involved in your clinical trial was you are pairing experimentally the virtual reality that we saw, the headgear, with a drug that seems to have an amazing effect.
Right.
Tell me about it.
Well, what we had discovered, remember the rat and the cat collar? So that process of giving the odor over and over again to the rat, and they finally get over their fear of that odor, we call that extinction. But that process of extinction was dependent on a particular protein in the brain. And if we inactivated that protein, then no matter how many times we presented the odor, the rat was still afraid of the odor. On the other hand, if we could make that protein work better with this compound called D-cycloserine, then we could really speed up that extinction process.
Doc, what's the bottom line here?
The bottom line is that we think that this medication improves the learning process that goes on with these exposure-based psychotherapies. And so what we reasoned is that if we combine this medication with virtual reality, maybe it would take fewer sessions to get over the fear.
And you are finding it...
So we did a study. We had 30 patients, 10 at a high dose, 10 at a low dose, and 10 placebo. And typically there are about 7 or 8 sessions in getting over a fear of heights. What we did is we purposely only chose 2 sessions because we wanted to see if we could improve that. And what we found is that the people that got the active medication were much better after 2 sessions than the people that got the placebo. And that lasted for at least 3 months, which is the longest time we tested them.
Still experimental.
Still experimental.
Very, very promising.
It's promising. It's now being actually tested throughout the world with things like obsessive-compulsive disorder, panic disorder, social phobias, post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Well, a lot of people, their attention perked up at that. Next, an amazing, amazing new treatment for post-traumatic stress syndrome. After 9/11, so many of us were traumatized. We had trouble sleeping. We were anxious and afraid. But a lot of people suffered more serious post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms after September 11th. And Bob is one of them. As we said earlier in the program, for some reason you felt compelled to jump into your car and go directly to Ground Zero that day. You're not an emergency rescue worker. No, you were just a civilian, and you went there and you stayed. And the first 4 days were horrendous.
Terrible. Horrifying.
I almost don't want to go near your memories for fear I will see the images that I know are burned in your memory.
Well, we all did. I witnessed it and I went through it, but it was a horrible time. It was stuff that I wouldn't want too many people to see, what I saw.
We're here today, though, because you began having symptoms about 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what started happening?
I noticed that I just started to not sleep well. I started having visions of what I went through, including the smells that we were experiencing at Ground Zero and the visions of the people that lost their lives. I was not sleeping well. I was sweating in my sleep, continuously having anxiety attacks. It was like almost like I was being pulled right back to Ground Zero.
And was this pretty destabilizing for your life?
Oh, yeah. I noticed that I was starting to not be the same person. I'm a pretty happy guy and have a wonderful family, and I noticed that I started to be miserable. I was snapping at my kids all the time. I didn't like the person that I was becoming, and I would drift. I would not be able to concentrate, and it was a very scary situation.
You needed help.
Oh, yeah.
And a treatment came to your attention. Were you kind of skeptical about it?
Yeah. I first went to like a talk therapy, and I didn't feel like I was getting any treatment that was helping me. And somebody mentioned to me that I should go see this Dr. David Grand, that he does great things. So I called up, made an appointment, and when I went in to meet with Dr. Grand, he told me he was going to do something called EMDR, and I didn't know what it was.
EMDR. Dr. David Grand is here with us, a psychotherapist who is on the faculty of the Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing Institute. I don't think I have to say that again, do I?
No.
One time is enough. People are very skeptical that something that seems this easy could be effective.
Mm-hmm. Well, people who've received the treatment are not skeptical. Bob is a perfect example of it. You said something interesting, that the memory was burned in Bob's, the memories were burned in Bob's brain, and the EMDR took the traumatic memories and used the supercomputer of his brain on its own to just release those memories, so that they became memories of things that had happened, that they weren't with him in the present.
And you'll have to explain what we're about to see, because the treatment is very simple looking. What's going to go on?
Well, when a person tracks my fingers to the left, it activates the right brain. When they track back to the right, it activates the left brain. Back and forth, we call it bilateral stimulation. Together with bringing up the memories and really bringing them right into the present, activating the brain and the body with the trauma, it gives the brain and the body a second time to reprocess the experience. And our brains are such miraculous mechanisms that although they got overwhelmed the first time, this time, with the help of the left-right stimulation, that almost jump-starts the brain has a chance to really release it, unfreeze from the frozen moments of the trauma.
For our benefit, Dr. Grand did a demonstration of how he worked with Bob.
I haven't been able to sleep recently. A lot of thoughts about my old job and some of the situations that I've been going through.
When was the last time you had trouble sleeping?
Sunday night.
Bring yourself back to Sunday night. Right at that point, you were trying to fall asleep and having trouble. And what thoughts come up with that?
Just a lot of anxiety, a lot of thinking. My mind going in many different directions, not able to focus on one thing.
Are you feeling that right now?
Yeah.
Just bringing up Sunday night and having trouble falling asleep, and the emotions and the thoughts and the tension in your stomach, just start with that. And just follow my fingers and watch wherever your mind goes. Where did that take you?
Makes me feel much more relaxed. I can feel my whole body just relax.
Okay, let's keep going. Do you have an image of yourself falling asleep tonight?
Yeah,
What does it look like?
peaceful, relaxed, curled up with a pillow under the head and just going to sleep.
And with that, how do you feel right now?
Good.
Good? Okay.
Bob, you were saying that people think that's hypnotism, and it's not.
Yeah, it's when I first saw him starting to wave his fingers back and forth at me, I kind of was a little skeptical myself. And I remember my first session with him, Dr. Grant asked me to visualize some of the stuff, the trauma that I went through. And after the session, I would actually say, what did you just do? Because I don't feel that pain anymore, that anxiety. I was actually able to look at him and smile and say, thank you.
You're saying it worked, and it worked fast?
It works immediately.
I was a little anxious about whether I should be, bringing up all those old images for someone who was suffering. You're cool with that?
Yes, I am.
That's amazing.
Yes, I am.
That's amazing.
Yes. I get amazed when I see it in front of me, and I've been doing it for 10 years.
Who thought of it?
Dr. Francine Shapiro, in the late 80s in California, was taking a walk, and she was thinking about things that were bothering her, and her eyes were moving around, and the thought stayed, but the distress disappeared, and she retraced her steps, and she kind of realized she had been moving her eyes around. She did it again, brought up some other things, and she had stumbled onto something that was sort of out there, but from there she quickly put together a way of bringing up the thoughts in what we call a protocol that covers the senses, the emotions, the thoughts, the body sensations, and the eye movement. And very quickly, the brain, which has 1 quadrillion connections, that's more than the stars in the universe, goes to work and does miracles that as therapists and as the rest of us, we would think are impossible.
What are some of the situations where you would see EMDR being useful?
Well, it's with post-traumatic stress disorder, where there's one particular event, a car accident, a mugging, a natural disaster. It can work in 1 or 2 sessions, extended sessions, 90 minutes, 2 hours. If a person has other conditions where trauma is a part of it, we were talking about anxiety disorders before. Oftentimes there's a trauma component to other conditions. So there we can, in conjunction with doing talk therapy and the other therapies that are being demonstrated, we can use EMDR to target the traumas that are driving and underpinning, the anxiety or depression condition.
I think some returning veterans from Iraq who have been treated
Yes.
and successfully. We have an MRI to show. We have the strange ability to get inside somebody's head and actually see, or at least a trained observer would be able to see proof that there is change. This, I think, is the before version of a woman who did suffer an automobile accident. And what has happened? This is the after.
If you can go back to the before.
Go back to before, can we? All right.
On the left, you can see it's a classic. The red is activation, and this was not with her thinking about it. This is the way she was walking around all the time. It's sort of it's called a diamond plus position, but what it really means is there's the activation in a diamond shape and right in the middle of the brain. This is the brain in a state of trauma. This woman was in a car accident, and after that, she not only had flashbacks, but she couldn't drive. And it was with her all the time, nightmares and so on. After 4 sessions of EMDR, in the after one, we see her brain where it's quieted down. And interestingly enough, the activity that's there is in the front of the brain where we think. And when we think and it doesn't trigger all the distress that's what we're seeing.
It's a wonderful feeling to be able to produce results like
Yes,
that,
thank
Bob.
you.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Next, we'll talk to Lori. She's overcome a lot of fears, but there was one more. We'll talk about that next.
Keep breathing.
I just don't know how it's going to stay up in the air, and the thought of being inside that for an hour is scary.
Lori has been dealing with her fears since she was 16 years old. We asked her to tell us how it felt to live with panic attacks.
I was on the Long Island Expressway. I was getting married in 3 months, and I was driving home from work. And out of nowhere, my heart just started pounding really, really fast. And I think I was probably 21 at the time. And I'm thinking, what is the matter with me? Oh my God, I wonder if there's something wrong with my heart. I pulled over to the side of the road and I waited. I just didn't know what was happening. And I just waited until it passed. It took about, I would say, it felt like an hour, but it was probably 2 or 3 minutes. An attack feels like, you feel like you're going to die or go insane. Your heart starts racing, you start to sweat, hyperventilate, you get really dizzy, you feel like you're gonna pass out. It's just an awful feeling. I was having little panic attacks here and there, which, okay, they didn't bother me because I knew what they were, but after 9/11, that's when it really got bad. Then that's where the bridges came in and traveling. I don't want my children to think that I'm afraid of anything because I don't want them to be afraid of anything.
But you had one big fear left. And what was that?
Flying.
What were you afraid of?
I'm really not sure. I just didn't like to be, I don't like to be enclosed. I have claustrophobia. And I thought the plane would crash. I was afraid that terrorists was going to take over the plane. And I just thought I'd lose my mind on the plane. I just did not want to get on the plane.
And your doctor said, you got to get on the plane.
No,
and
it's
so, last week, Lori went to the airport, accompanied by her therapist, in an effort to tackle this fear of flying.
It's been 5 years since I've flown on a plane. I'm here today to overcome that fear so that I can help myself and take my family on vacation.
Keep breathing.
I just don't know how it's going to stay up in the air, and the thought of being inside that for an hour is scary.
Thank you. Enjoy your flight.
Thank you. All right. That's all right.
Well, my role is fairly limited today. I'm going to encourage her to just feel the fear and let it dissipate on its own.
I cannot believe I'm about to get on this plane, and I'm hoping that it doesn't crash, and I'm thinking, I hope I get back, and I'm just hoping it's not going to be a bad flight.
How you doing? What's going through your mind?
I'm just scared to be in here for an hour.
Okay. All right. All right, well, that had to happen. That's fine. This is what you came for.
What was that noise you made? Was that gasp, but that you didn't want to get on the plane?
I was absolutely terrified. I did not want to get on.
We'll find out what happened on that flight next.
How you doing? What's going through your mind?
I'm just scared to be in here for an hour.
Okay. All right. All right, well, that had to happen. That's fine. This is what you came for.
Well, that was early in the flight, but Lori has a fear of flying, and that was her first flight in 5 years, sitting with her therapist. This is Lori deplaning. And I think we're looking at a different person. You look like just nothing in the world had happened, just, where's my bag?
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe how quickly it worked. I was so scared on the way there, and when we came off the plane, when we got on the plane to come home, I tried everything to have a panic attack, and I couldn't.
Well, Dr. David Carbonell is Lori's doctor, and we got to find out what happened. What is the process? First, you are a clinical psychologist and director of the Anxiety Treatment Center in New York and Chicago. Do you always accompany a patient on a flight like that if fear of flying is the issue?
I usually do it in a group, but yes, if I work individually or with a class of fearful flyers, we'll always have what we call the practice flight, where we go on a flight, give people a chance to get afraid, and practice allowing themselves to just go through it.
We were talking before, Lori and I, about your treatment together, and you've known each other for some time, you know, working on this and that, and flying was the last one. Flying was the big one.
That was the big one, yeah.
That's right. Lori was talking about making a plan. I think it's important for people to understand a little bit more about what cognitive behavior therapy is all about. It's not the stuff where you know, tell the shrink, you know, your childhood and your mother and all the, you know, your
No.
dreams and all that. It's different than that.
Very different. Cognitive behavioral therapy is about changing how you think and how you behave with respect to, in this case, what you're afraid of. So with flying, what we wanted to do was to have Lori have the chance to go in and expose herself to flying in real life and give up all the things that she used to do before, give up all the self-protection, give up all the ways she would try and distract herself and pretend she wasn't on a plane, give up the grabbing of the seat, give up the not looking out the window, put herself on the line, let herself have a panic attack, and let it subside, to just turn herself over to the fear.
And it's important for her to understand she's not going to die of a panic attack.
Well, that helps. But I know she's going to find that out afterwards.
All right.
That's the process, that she goes through it. She sees that I gave up all my self-defenses. I just put myself there, and still here I am, good to go, just as good as I ever was.
Now, she's got to get back on that plane.
Absolutely.
And repeatedly, right?
Yes.
In
yes.
order for the treatment to work. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I have plans to go. Several of my friends have offered to fly with me, and I'm going to actually this week make plans to do it within the next 2 weeks.
You go, girl.
I want to take my kids to Disney, so I want to take a few more practice rides before we do that.
Well, I hope you get a chance. We'll be right back. Fly some more to reinforce her success in her first flight in 5 years. And Lori, we're here to help. We have, for you and some of your loved ones, 4 plane tickets from Southwest Airlines, and you and your family are going to Florida, and courtesy of Universal, you have passes to Universal Orlando and reservations at Lowe's Hotel, Portofino Bay Hotel, and I've been there. It's great. Thank you so much. I want to thank our guests for being here today. I have truly love this show. I've learned a lot I never knew before, and I hope you did too. For more information about today's show, go to our website, thejanepauley.com. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Vargas.
And I'm John Stossel.
And this is 2020.